Good morning. My name is Katie May, and I am your guide to connecting with your authentic self. In these episodes, videos, whatever you want to call them, I usually talk a lot about like connection, mindfulness, and authenticity. I think these are very, very important to each individual's life, because as we are able to connect with ourselves and show up more authentically, we're actually able to live a more peaceful life within our own bodies and minds. And we're also able to stand up. We're also able to stand up for things that make us feel whole, that make us feel like we have a purpose in this life. And I think the more that we are all able to show up for our purpose, whatever that may be, the more beautiful world that we can create here. Of course, there's always going to be some huge issues that not a single one of us can tackle alone. But the more that we all connect with our authentic selves, the more that we're able to connect with other people's authentic selves. And through that connection, we're able to build a sense of community so that we're able to tackle these bigger issues as a whole. I think it's really, really cool just to see people in the past, how they've been able to come together as a unified whole. Even if they don't share the same core values, they share the same value enough to be able to see something bigger than themselves as a problem and actually take action as a whole to be able to resolve that issue. I'm definitely sick today. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm doing my best not to sound sick, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, my laugh caught me off guard. But the process of connecting with your authentic self, sometimes it can be longer than we anticipate, but the process itself is actually pretty easy. This last week, I feel like I haven't been doing a good job listening to myself. There's a lot of little pushes I'll get from my brain, like, oh hey, instead of taking the regular way home, go like this other way. And right now I can tell that it's not going to be that big of a deal, so I will still listen to whatever I want to do instead of whatever my intuition wants me to do, and I'll take the regular way home. And then there's a bunch of construction, or like somebody got pulled over, so we all have to like stop and wait. And I feel like it's really symbolic of what happens when you don't actually listen to your intuition, when you start to build that connection. And maybe it's something bigger than just like driving on the road, or maybe it's something smaller, you know. But whenever we don't listen to that intuition, typically our paths will be slowed down or even come to a stop. And that can make us feel really anxious. It can make us feel really unsettled. It can make us feel really fidgety. Like, come on, like, let's go. But the more that you're able to listen to your intuition, the more that you get into that state of flow. And the more that you get into that state of flow, the more progress you get to make that feels more natural and without as much like stop and go as you would find that when you don't follow your intuition. You could be trying to accomplish the same goal as your intuition, but your intuition knows the way to get to that goal with the least resistance. And maybe right now you're in a place where your intuition isn't that strong, and that's totally fine. It took me, it took me, at least 4 years to be able to even like start to want to practice with my intuition. And it took a while for my intuition to really actually kick in, because I had to continually give it a place in my life, in my body. So how I started to develop my intuition was, of course, first through mindfulness. I was practicing more traditional like meditation practices, but I was also going out on walks and car rides, trying to feel where the universe wanted me to go and wanted me to turn and all of that fun stuff. I feel like the car rides were the most beneficial for me, especially because I would travel to like different states on just like a regular Sunday drive. And part of that allowed me to become a little lost, because I'm not great with directions, to be honest. And so I would take a few roads, make sure I was really, really lost, and then I would just ask myself every time, okay, left, forward, or right? Left, forward, or right? And I would take my time to breathe into that question and make sure I set my attention that I was heading back home, that I wasn't just traveling crazily anymore. So like left, forward, right to get me back home. Left, forward, right. And the more that I practiced this, the more that I was actually able to find my way home, instead of getting myself more and more lost. And coming as someone who's not great with directions and only knows east when I look up at the sun, and think about what time it is, this was a really big deal for me. And it was really the breaking point. There's a better word for it. But it was the start of my journey to intuition. And even now, like I said, there's still times where I don't listen to it and it slows me down and it makes me stop, and I have to be like, okay, like what am I doing in my life that is making me feel like I cannot connect with my intuition, that I can't connect with myself enough to actually listen to what my higher good and my higher power is like telling me that is right for me and good for me. And usually it has to do, for me personally, usually goes back to me not taking care of myself, not brushing my teeth, not washing my hair, not doing my hair. I love doing my hair, but sometimes it feels like it just takes so much time. I just don't want to. And then I also think about like, how do I want my future children to be taken care of? Do I want to... I'm tired. Do I want them to come up to me and be like, hey, can you do my hair? And I'll be like, no, I feel like that'd take too long, and I'm really tired today, and I just don't want to, you know? Because I'm inevitably going to take care of them the same way that I take care of myself, especially on my bad days. So if I can learn to take care of myself better on my bad days, I can also learn to take better care of them on my bad days. And I don't have kids yet, so if you are a parent, you can definitely take your own perspective on this, because I have yet to have kids. But I think the more that we get into the habit of taking care of ourselves, the better that we can actually get into the habit of taking care of others around us too. Oh man, I'm really tired. But you know what? I still brushed my teeth this morning. I still made time to get into some clothes. I still made time to reach out to some people that mean a lot to me, that make me feel loved, and that I love loving purposefully. Yeah, and just people that make me feel grateful to being alive here. And I feel like the more that I connect with myself, unfortunately, the smaller that circle gets of people that I feel like are mindful and loving enough that I want to connect with on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. I'm also trying to figure out how to connect with people that are special to me but maybe don't have the same understanding of mindfulness and taking care of themselves, and it affects our relationship, and seeing how much I'm able to put into those relationships. That's still something I'm struggling with. Relationships are hard, man. They're pretty hard, but they're fun and crazy. I don't know. I think I'm just rambling at this point. My brain is definitely extra loopy today. It always does that when I get like this type of sick. And the coughing kind of hurts. The upper respiratory kind of hurts. The drainage is annoying, but I think the worst part is becoming a little bit loopy and like breathing and being like, oh crap, how long have I been here? It makes me feel like I'm high without even smoking anything. Man, but it's fine. It's fine. I think the best thing about being mindful and building that connection with myself and being sick is I'm actually willing to like take care of myself now. I grew up in a family that, like, I don't know, they didn't really care if I was sick or not. They would still force me to do whatever it is that they felt like was needed to be done. And being able to just lay in bed and rest, or even take medicine, was just not something that they valued. Even times where, like, I would have an ear infection or need to get, like, my tetanus shots, like, that wasn't enough for us to actually go to the doctor without me getting in trouble in some way. And so for the first few years of being an adult, I wouldn't take any sort of medication. I never went to the hospital, like, none of that. And so now that I'm in a place where I actually want to take care of myself and I want to feel good in my body, like, I'm mindful about the medications I take and how much I take, but I'm also more willing to take them now than I would have had access to as a child. And so it feels really nice being in this place now where I'm connected to myself, and I can be like, hey, do we want some pain medication today? Hey, do we want some, like, upper respiratory, like, cough, cold and flu, like, liquid medicine, because I hate taking pills. And it's, I don't know, I think it's a really beautiful journey. And there's a lot of people that may have grown up similar to me with the lack of medication and the lack of, like, hospitalization. And then there's other people that maybe grew up with that access, and so they're not going to relate to this as much. But at the end of the day, I feel like we can all relate to the need to connect to ourselves, to be able to take better care of ourselves. And what better way to take care of ourselves than to listen to our body's needs and to actually give our body what it needs. And that's where I think authenticity really ties back into it. Because, like, if your body's just craving water and you decide to shove a bunch of pills down its throat, like, that's not really being authentic to what you need and who you are, you know? But the more that you're able to connect with yourself and be like, oh, the authentic version of me just needs water, that's really easy. I think the better care that we're able to actually take care of ourselves, and in return we're also able to take better care of the people around us. So yeah, that's my little rant for the day. If you guys need anything from me, if you have any questions, definitely leave them down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll leave my links down below, and let me know what your journey of authenticity has been like for you. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna park real quick, and then I'll go ahead and log off. So I love you guys. I hope you make today as wonderful as you are, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.